transformation. Okay, we need all 5 of these blocks to get digital transformation. However, if we take out the strategy and culture and leave everything else behind, we have digitization. So what everyone is doing is digitization if they don't bring in their strategy and culture. So I want to stop for a moment and have a look at this quadrant that was done by Stephen Covey on
culture.
Sorry? I didn't hear that. All right. Done by Stephen Covey on time management, on what is urgent and what is important. So if we have a look at the top row and see what is not urgent, and on the side, not important, is trivia, busy work, time wasting. So that is not urgent, not important. If we look at something that is urgent and important, that's quadrant 1, you will see that this is crisis mode, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects. Doing this strategy used to be positioned in not urgent, but important. So if you have a look at the criteria that goes into quadrant 2 of being urgent or not urgent and important, we'll see that building a strategy today has now moved to quadrant 1. I want to talk very briefly about strategy. Strategy has a kernel. There are 3 parts to a strategy. There's a diagnosis, there's a guiding policy, and there's a coherent action. Okay, let me give you an example. The diagnosis is this. It's a furniture store that sells brand new furniture, but business is bad. Sales are down. Second-hand furniture is coming to the fore, which this company doesn't have. And it needs to find a new strategy to go forward. So it has a look on internet and starts to look at the market and to see what is happening. And there it sees that there's a lot of construction going in around where they operate of building flats. And I think, hold on, here is an idea. Why don't we rent furniture to the companies putting up the flats, and when people move out, they can take that furniture and then possibly sell it as second-hand furniture. So there you've got a diagnosis that they've got their sales have decreased, their policy that they've managed to glean and build up from internet, that they want to give product to or furniture to people to rent, to hire from. And when they take it back, they've then got their second-hand furniture that they can then sell to this new market that they were not in. Right. If we take out staff and customer engagement, but we have all the other blocks in place, we have resistance. So I posed a question last week about what do customers mean to you? Who are your customers? How well do you actually know your customers? Right. They are your customer service. They know how your products work in real life. So if you want customer service, you go and ask your customers what they're doing with your product. They are your research and development team, because all of a sudden they start using your product in a totally different way to what it was meant for. They're your advertisement. They are your best marketing tool that you could use. If you can run your business purely on referrals, you'll fly. And you get referrals from your customers. And that is the best investment that you can make. They're the designers. They're the designers of your products. They modify it. They are your product managers because they see ways where they can bundle your product with other products. So as you can see here, customers aren't just an identity as we discussed last week, but they can give you 5 different reasons why you need to get closer to your customers. Right. Let's say we leave out processes and innovation and have all the other blocks filled. We have uncoordination. What I've got here is a workflow document. And can you see my cursor? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we start. I just want to show and explain what a workflow diagram is because it's very important for when we come to talk about drip marketing. So there is our customer, our sales call. He can either go and he wants to sell products and he fills out a credit form. That information goes to order entry and it then will go, the order form will go all the way to a credit check. It will either be accepted or declined. If it is accepted, it then gets checked and then the order gets dispatched. If it's declined, it then gets sent back to the customer. So that is a process of how things happen very simplistically in an organization. And this is what we call as a business process workflow diagram. Now, with post-COVID, we can do one of 4 things to improve our sales. If we look at the bottom line, and that is advocacy. That is talking to people, people getting to know us, and our business is going to grow, but not very much. It's just going to take a long time to start picking up. If we go for marketing and go and spend marketing, we'll find that our sales will peak very quickly, but then will decline again as the ads wear off. So we now need to spend more money on more ads. However, if we look at this turquoise line, this is our innovation. This is our authority. This is building something new. If we can build this up, you can see that our trajectory can be on the up in actually improving our sales. The green line over here is just the market leader. And they're the market leader. They do the best and they just carry on regardless. So what we need to do is we need to innovate. We need to have this turquoise line, and that's what our sales should start to look like. There are 10 types of innovation broken down into 3 categories: configuration, offering, and experience. If we can take 5 of these 10 boxes out, we can have a successful company. We can innovate successfully. And a lot of companies like Airbnb, Uber, all have taken some of these boxes out and put it together. And you'd find that with 5 or more of these boxes from the 3 categories, you can have a successful business. And this is something that I can work through with you and work through all the different boxes. Here's an example of a woman in Uganda who has got this green belt movement. And you can see the boxes at the bottom that she has used to be able to capitalize in designing the new innovation of her business, of what she wants to do. Because if you remember, we said that with COVID-19, we have to pivot. We have to pivot our company. We've got to start again as if we're starting from day one. And this gives you ideas. This is a toolkit that we can use. And if we can get 5 of them together, we can build a successful new innovation. Right. If we go on, we come to technology. So if we got culture, customers, innovation, data analytics, we in fact have frustration if we don't have the technology. So what I wanted to do is show everyone what the concept of what a cloud is. And there we can see the cloud in the middle. It's drawn as a cloud, and that's the network. So when people say the data is in the cloud, that's what they're saying. But in actual fact, the data is in all these different computers scattered around. And these computers are scattered around the world in very big data centers. Microsoft, Google, all have major big data centers around the world where they store all of this data. And I think you might have heard a thing called SaaS, service as a, or software as a service. Today, you don't buy your software, you rent it out through the cloud, and it goes to one of those computers and picks it up. Right. Artificial intelligence. This is really something that we need to look at very carefully. It is coming. People are going to lose their jobs if they do not reskill. Now, let me give you an example of jobs that are going to be lost. Accountants. Accountants that do the grudge work, that is all going to be gone. It's all going to be taken over by computers. Lawyers are going to some extent, start becoming redundant. Now, let me try explain to you. It is done by using machine language. If you can imagine that with a computer, you put in the software, you put in the program, you put in the raw data, and out comes the result. They found by being very clever, if they put in the raw data and they put in the result, out will come the program. And now the program starts to learn. And by continually teaching the program, it becomes cleverer and cleverer. So, artificial intelligence is going to take the place of a salesperson. We all believe that we need salespeople, and I was a salesperson, still am. Salespeople take off Friday afternoons and go for lunch, and they go for lunch every other day, and they only work as hard as they need to be able to keep their job. We are now going to have what we call as digital citizens that are going to take over the sales. And they are cleverer than us, and they're going to be able to close deals more often than what we are as humans. So artificial intelligence is here, it's coming. The one big scare is that as computers learn to mimic and understand human behavior, they will also see the bad in human behavior, the violence that humans show between each other. And this is a scare that maybe computers one day will turn on man. You only need to go back to 1968, 1970, when there was a movie called Space Odyssey 2001. And if people remember, there was a computer called HAL, H-A-L. And if you want to know how it got its nickname, they said it was one before IBM. So if you took H as one letter before I, L, one letter before M, etc. And what happened there is the computer took over and said, I'm not letting you back into the spacecraft. So this is a problem that we need to address with artificial intelligence. Okay, I'm going to now talk about a chatbot or a digital citizen. So you go onto the computer and there's a little box that comes in the bottom right-hand corner and says, hi, can I help you? That is a chatbot. When you press on that, up comes a question. What brought you here? And this is a rules-based chatbot. It says, what do you want to do? You've got two options. You can either want to talk to someone or you're an existing customer. That's the options that you can have with this chatbot. Nothing more, nothing less. So this is rules-based. It's expecting an answer on one or other of the questions that it's asking. I said, are you a robot? And if you have a look, it did not understand what I was saying. So look at the response. And I can't read it here because I've got this. Oh, that's better. Let's move it. That's right. How many potential CRM users do you have on your team? So it didn't understand. This is a rules-based chatbot. But today, they are starting to make them more intelligent. And how they do that is they ask you a question. And if you get it right, they come and say, was I right? Yes or no? And you say yes. And then you ask them another question. And if the answer is wrong, you say no. This is how they teach robots, or how they teach computers to start thinking like humans. Over here, I've got a thing called a landing page. Now, what happens over here, and this is why having computers and having a website is so vitally important, as my comment to the guy last week who said, do I need a website? And the answer was yes. The website is the equivalent of the yellow pages from the 1980s. The website works 24 hours around the clock, and it is your store window to the world. That's why it's very difficult, and you've got to be really good at what you're doing.
And I'm in. You've got to press into call use.
Okay, I can't see, sorry. All right, so what happens is you go onto a website, and while you're there, a box comes up, and that is called a landing site. That is the landing page that is asking you, do you want any more information? And if you just happen to press enter, it comes back with another landing site saying, hey, don't go away, give me your information. This is how we need to start operating with Poppy. We need to get people to give us information and give us the ability to communicate with them. And this is how it's done with landing pages. Landing pages says to the guy, you've come to my website. Okay, you're going. Please do me a favor. Tell me who you are. And if you do, I'm going to give you an ebook for you to read. So if you want to read this and you're interested in it, give me your details and off I'll send you an ebook. This is all very important because we have a thing called inbound marketing. Things have changed. In the past, you'd pick up the phone and you'd phone and do a cold call. All of that is called outbound marketing. We are reaching out to our customers. Poppy comes along and says, sorry, can't make those cold calls anymore. And we say, no problem, because we are going to get our computer to qualify leads for me. My computer is going to reach out to people that visit my website. Even if they visit my website for a minute, I'm going to try find out who they are, and then I'm going to try build a relationship. Now, if you've got a website, and if you've got, and you're lucky enough to have 200 people hitting your website on a daily basis, and that's really, really, really low. You might get 20,000 or 200,000 hits on a day. You can't make a call to go call all 20 in that day. You need to use technology. And what we do is we use a thing called drip marketing. We use drip marketing to qualify leads. We use it to give out content. Now, gone are the days where the salesperson would go and sell a generator to a factory and walk in and say, here's my generator, do you want to buy it? And the guy says, yeah, fine, or no. Today, they go onto internet and they go and they see what is the price of generators. And then they go and buy the generator that possibly suits them the best. So now, this salesman selling generators is superfluous. He doesn't need to be there. What he needs to do is he needs to add value. He needs to add trust to that relationship, because now people buy on internet, but salespeople, you want to build trust with your customer. So if you remember last week, I spoke about showrooming, where you go into game, you see the fridge that you like, you go onto your computer, onto your cell phone, you type in the model, you find out who's selling it cheaper, and off you go and buy it from the cheapest person online. And there you could use game and look at the fridges, and you could pick it and you can see and know exactly what you were getting. Drip marketing is a workflow, like I showed in the beginning. And what it does is you need to build confidence and trust with your customers. So what happens is people don't read emails. The success rate, as we discussed last week, was about 5%. You get a 25% read rate, you're doing very well. So drip marketing is going to work like this. I'm going to send out an email with some content. If the guy likes the content, he's going to read it. And the moment he reads it, I know that he's read it. I will wait maybe 3 days, 4 days, and send him another email. And he reads that email, and now I'm starting to build trust with this guy. I send him the third email, and he doesn't read it. Or he doesn't read the second email. Or he doesn't read the first email. So because he hasn't read my email, I send him one last email telling him I'm not going to contact him any further. Thank you very much. I don't want you to think that my emails is spam. But the guy has read your 3 emails, and all of a sudden, he reads your 4th one, and you know that this guy is interested. It is like going fishing. The fish is biting. Now, when you phone him up, and remember, you've had no contact with him, no communication with him, only through the computer. You phone him up and you say, "Hi, my name's Gary. I see you've been reading my emails. You find it interesting? Yes. Okay, can I come and show you my product, or can we do a Zoom meeting and we can conclude the deal?" This is all happens in the background. This is why I say with drip marketing, you're going to earn the right to contact the person. You need content. You need to have little bits of content that you can send out to your customers to build the trust. And you will end up with qualified leads. Right, so what we've done is we've taken our technology, and now we're going to have a look at data and analytics. Right, I'm showing you this program or this picture over here to explain what ETL means, which is extract, transform, and load. Remember, we spoke about dirty data, and I showed you how much data, in fact, is dirty. So we need to take our data that is sitting in these databases, and we have a program called an ETL program, which is extract, transform, and load into another repository. And this is how we clean our data. We do it with computers. Can you imagine being a bank and having 3,000 wrong addresses and trying to clean it automatically? It becomes impossible. So that is an ETL tool to extract, transform, and load data, and thereby calling it scrubbing the data or cleaning it. Right, there you go. Can you trust the numbers? Are the numbers right? All comes down to dirty data. Tracy, how much time have I still got?
Gary, we have 10 minutes left.
All right. Next time, I'm going to show you pivot tables and how dirty data comes in, and I'm going to show you how I could look at properties in a particular area, find out who the agents are, which agents have got those properties, what are they selling it for, what are the properties in that block going for, and I will show you how you can take your data and move it around and how you can get information coming out of your data. So we'll leave that for next week. What I want to just talk on briefly is visualization, structured and unstructured data. If we take a graph and we take our data and we plot our graph, and we have this line going up over here, we can work out where we want to position our sales, ourselves, and the product, and we get a very good idea of what is happening with that data if it is structured data. But what I want to rather look at is this graph. This graph shows me a relationship between all the bits of data that I have queried. Now, if you remember, we spoke about nappies and beer. And if we look at these colors, we can see that there are certain colors that have a better relationship. So, for example, the black and the purple. There seems to be a relationship with the data there. That looks red, but looks like a good relationship over there. Or the green, the purple, and the black. There's a relationship. If I take that and look at the products that represent, that tells me that's a very good idea for me to bundle some of those products together, and I'm going to get better sales. Right, so there we go. We've looked at everything, and we're seeing that if we have everything together, we will have data transformation and digital transformation. Right, so just some quick acknowledgements that no copyright infringement was intended. Some of the sites I got my information from. And are there any questions? Sorry about the short time, because I would have loved to have shown you the pivot tables and dirty data and how you can look at data and look at the relationship of data and see where you can maybe find ideas on how to bundle your product or how to improve your sales. Okay, any questions?
So if everyone would like to perhaps unmute themselves and put on your videos if you choose to. Andrew has put a comment in the chat box and he said how important Google Analytics is. So Andrew, if you want to elaborate on that, I see you've unmuted yourself.
So if everybody can hear me, what's very important about Google Analytics is that you might have the best website in the world, and you might even be getting quite a few hits on it, but you don't know who's hitting your site. It could be somebody from Indonesia, it could be somebody from anywhere in the world. And the people that you need to find out who's hit your website. I've done quite a bit of advertising on Facebook, and I've had quite a few good results. But you need to know who you are advertising to, what you're trying to get. You need to know the end goal and how you're going to achieve that end goal and what you want from your advertising. Otherwise, spending money on advertising is a total waste of time. I mean, I'm sure Gary will tell you that you need to have a decent website to first start off with. But if you're not hitting the right people, you're not getting the right customers, you're not getting anything.
Andrew, you've raised an extremely valid point, but let me tell you, we go further. We have heat maps. We now have a heat map to see where do people go on your website. So if you've got a website, got lots of pages, or it's very long, and people are not going down to the bottom of the website on that page, that's a wasted page. So we have heat maps that we can apply to our websites and see where are people going, where are they clicking, where are they dropping off. Maybe they're dropping off because they don't find value, or it's too difficult for them to work. Now, Andrew, I've got software which I will make available to you, which is a heat map that you can load onto your website, and you can use it and see what is happening with people visiting your website. So just give your details to Tracy and I will make contact with you. Another thing is, now we have software that looks at how good a website is, how innovative it is. Does it lend itself to becoming more than just a